There we go. I yet again have to do this. That's fine. A professional businessman? It's simply just me this time, at the moment. Friday, though, we'll have the recap stream. Also, welcome to the stream, Austin. Nice to see you here. This is the art team office hours. I usually do these on Wednesdays around this time, going over like the creative process of Resonite or answering questions about making things in here or using Resonite as a tool to create things. Welcome to the stream. I see an Alex Tupai, of course, Austin, Sejin Dub, and Baplar. As with any office hours, before I forget, I do recall Bob, I think, is still in the means or in the midst of travel. So he, I think he'll be there on Friday for the recap stream. We were going to do it last Friday, but had to be bumped over to this Friday due to Fruks and Prime and a whole bunch of others being busy. I know Fruks is getting even closer with the splitting. It's coming. And already seeing the results of like one of the worlds that we go to quite often. Hmm? Give me a moment. Let's see here. I might be using the wrong microphone. And my audio quality probably just jumped up if it wasn't the wrong one. Clipping? Hmm. Yeah, it probably was my yeah. Yeah. Definitely after the stream I can definitely chat with you, Austin. Yeah, for some reason my it defaulted to the Vibe Pro I microphone, so sometimes it just pitches up my voice or pitches down. Although one of the team members on the coding team, Cyro, has messed around with the Vibe Pro I microphone to, I don't know how, but it like sounded much more decent by messing with the like the gain and the bass to kind of make sure that it sounds at least like a decent mic. But I'm using a Mon mic right now, wireless. But as usual, those tuning into the stream now, this is the Art Team Office Hours, mainly focusing around like, well, the visual side of Resonite, whether it be models, textures, animations, avatars, worlds, the like. Definitely I'll answer questions about creating stuff in here, even Protoflux as well too. And if any questions about the beginner's experience, how that's going, to kind of go over what's happening with that is we're working on the last major thing that we want to do before our big push for like the splitting and our marketing is the help tab, which will be a new tab in your not browser but uh, dashboard. As I go hunt for it in the team inventory real quick. There we go. Even more progress has been made on this thing. Many of you's been working on adding templates, which this entire thing is made out of. Templates for the different buttons, pictures, links, and even text copying buttons. For example, if I go to, actually, what was it? Under About? Was it About? Yeah, About, like with the license, say if you want to know about the licensing for like the assets that we make in here, which are CC by 4.0, by the way. Uh, you can copy the information from here. And also there's a page for all the links. These already work, like our different websites, got our socials, and then over here is going to be like a command that you can send to the Resonite bot. Because in Resonite, you can send commands to the Resonite bot, which is kind of like it technically is a account. But when you go to the context page, you can type in, for example, an echo command like hello, and it will just repeat what you type in. And then you can check things like your cloud space, how much you have, I think what kind of account you have. You can also set certain badges. Off the top of my head, I don't know exactly all of them, but yeah, all the ones that are publicly available for users will be there, and you'll be able to copy them. And also, one thing that we thought of when we were working on this last night, or the night before, is the rich text formatting that you can do in here. I don't exactly remember off of the top of my head what it's based off of, but I'm assuming it's some kind of like HTML or something that's similar to C Sharp, which is the code base that Resonite is built off of. But I can just give like an example what text formatting is. Say I got this text right here. I'm gonna click on this so I can pop up a keyboard locally. And I'm just gonna do a bracket here. Put in a letter I. Doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lowercase. Then I close that bracket. Oh, where'd it go? Still showing on my keyboard because I'm seeing everything that I type. But if I start typing text, now it's in italics. Now I can also close this so that anything after that is not italics. So I can just do open bracket /I, close it. Now that's not italicized. You can also do things like color equals. You can either type in a like a hex color code by starting with like the pound sign or hashtag and then whatever number, or you can go into the wiki. There is a page on all of these, actually almost all of these, and see all the different colors that are supported. So if I type in cyan, and I'll type in the color red to throw people off. There you go. There we go. Now I still have it open, so I can just continue to type. Let me just move my keyboard a little bit. And it's still that, but what if I left the italics open? If I just delete one of these brackets, it'll just make everything all italics. Now there's another thing you can do. If you just want to close everything, controller, you can simply do
Close all. There we go. Now anything past that won't have anything with like italicized text or anything that you have currently left open. You don't have to have coin to make art in here. You can just simply build. You can use the dev tool, you can use brushes, you can use the shape tool, you can import models into here and add materials, add functionality. You can record videos, take pictures in here, record audio with your microphone. uh, I'm noticing that the particles in here are not flowing into me like the moderation office hours earlier when Veer and Git were doing theirs. The particles here have like a little bug at the moment because they're converted from the old Unity particles because they were like vertical, not horizontal like the waves should be. I just fixed it here and it's good to know that it's not doing it. Actually, I have it open right here. It's all full of these adapters. The only problem was the rotations, but I don't blame Frooks for missing that. It is already reported, but I know exactly why it happened. It's because Unity's particle rotation, if I recall, is literally backwards in the mathematics. In regards to like what axes it starts or whatnot. And I remember Frooks is like, why? Just being so frustrated about it. I don't blame him. Ah, we got a good question from Sejin Dub. If it's okay to ask, how did you get into Resonite? What is your story? I think you're one of the people that have been the longest here. Well, that is a good story to tell. Also includes frustrations about Unity. That pretty much brought me to a previous platform and then to here. I originally started getting to VR back in like 2017, 18, when it was first starting to get like more and more popular. As someone who wanted to get into modeling for like games or CG in general as a freelancer at first, figured that might be a new industry to go into that would have like opportunity. And in general, I had like a Alienware PC at the time. I know those aren't the greatest, but hey, 1080 with a i5, I think it's somewhere still. But uh, I got the Windows Mixed Reality. Damn it, Microsoft! Why the hell did you kill that headset series? But besides the point, it was the HP, not the HP Reverb, nor the G2, because they didn't exist at the time. It was literally the flip up visor. Uh, yeah. Also, welcome to the stream, Modern. Yep. And I wonder if I still have it somewhere on my PC, but I've used the hell out of the thing. It's right now in pieces because it fell apart. Like I have the controllers in my room on like a dresser somewhere, I just gotta put it somewhere so I can store it for now. But yeah, I got that headset. Found out about VRC at the point, or at that point, learned how to make avatars in Unity and worlds in VR chat, and then found out about the Halo community in there. Learned how to make my own weapon systems, teleporters, vehicles, you name it, and like avatar customization as well. It was pretty neat. I also met Nexilin there too. That's how I learned about what they do and what Fruits did too. Didn't really talk to them much at the time until but around like mid 2018. From there, going to uh, or checking out another platform, previous one to this one, seeing what you can do, seeing the fact that you can import things in here and like edit things in real time, like a Unity editor, is what really got me hooked onto it. And uh, I had a working map full of like almost like I'd say probably like 50% there of like a working FPS game in VR chat in a map with like vehicles, weapons, and a couple other interactives as well too. But time after time, updates broke things. And the fact that in a platform like this, things can be updated, and sometimes some things do break, but it can just easily be fixed in here and just saved. Like the particles, for example, in here. There was an update where we replaced the Unity particles that we were using for the particle system to a custom system that handles the particle placement and behavior. And only Unity is just rendering it. It's just Brooks' engine is just telling, hey, this is where a particle is, this is what color it is, what texture's on it, how fast it's going, etc. And the fact that you can go in here, I can just tweak these numbers. Oh, it's broken, I can just fix it up like that. Albeit there's some things that do actually need fixing and all that. There's also the fact that it's still in ongoing development and all that. It makes sense. But the fact that I can just save it and not have to worry about uploading it to a newer Unity engine version and worry about features being like cut off or like sunsetted by Unity is really reassuring because uh, moving from Unity version to Unity version, making that map, it broke a lot of things every single time. Point where I just literally rage quit Unity, closing it down, and then my mouse hovering over, checking out another platform. And then at that point, I met Fuchs and Nex that same day. Rest is history, and we ended up founding a new company, and that was a whole ordeal too. Lots of paperwork, lots of things we have never done before. It, it it's probably a longer story for a stream like this, but that covers big chunks of it. I've done a lot of modeling for Fuchs and such for a while, and seeing all the different things that I've made in the past versus now. Of course, with every artist, you see like all the things you've done I guess, wrong in some ways, even though that's probably the thing that I only knew how to do. But basically, seeing how far you've come from like all the different projects you do, or whether it be side projects or things you make for official things and all that, and yeah, and now having other folks helping you out and bouncing ideas off of each other to improve your designs, ideas, and creations. For those still tuning in, this is the art team office hours. I'm Aegis Wolf of the art team, and I'm here to answer any questions about the platform itself, creative workflow using it or within it, as you can definitely use this platform kind of like a editor of sorts, or use other editors outside of and convert the assets to work in here with like raw assets like model files, texture files, audio files, videos, fonts, etc. Oh, one thing I almost forgot too. Uh, and it just left my head. Wonderful. Hmm. Well, one thing though about like that shooter game I was working on right now, other than like messing around with some projectile systems, I kind of want to see if I can get some vehicles working in here at some point. I've been messing around with it from stream to stream in the past. Kind of set it aside due to, well, lots of other important work, not just this, but also working with clients as well within business. As it's a balance for the team right now to work via the stuff for like the platform itself, like the stuff that's facing like the community, business, etc. Whether it be like the in-game assets or having to collaborate with clients to, say, for example, make an office space or make uh, examples for like research or tools for research or design, or in some cases, I know Prime has talked about it too, like medical uses. We have a question from Baplar regarding the I10 strings for the help tab. How much earlier than the help tab itself do you plan to make available for community translation? So, I was having a little bit of trouble parsing that, but I kind of got the gist. Also, welcome to the stream, Kite VT. To, to answer. Oh, I see what you tried to do. Unfortunately, it did not work. um, I think it. Oh yeah, there's a tag in the list of formatting that does no parsing. So I'm guessing that's what happened. Is Jack the Fox Setter put no parsing just in case. Ah, so in regards to the locales for this thing, this is probably going to add a few hundred bytes to the locales. But I know folks were, even in the engineering or coding team, were talking about splitting it. But due to the time constraints, it's going to be added to uh, the current locale strings. So far, there's like locale strings made, at least like the default ones, where I've been going through and filling those out in like a document that we're gonna paste over to the actual locales. But not everything that we want in there will be there when we launch it. But the neat thing about it is this thing is easy to update. That is why it's not going to be in the cloud home per se, because it'll be in your dashboard. It will also be in the avatar gazebo and tutorial world, and those two worlds are easy to update. The only thing that is hard for us to update is the cloud home, mainly because we do not want to override people's cloud homes. That would suck, even for me, because everybody has their own cloud home and it doesn't have even be the default one. Maybe if we had like a system in the future where it detects if you haven't changed your cloud home, it'll update it. But what we want to do is, if we have time, is somehow add like a notifier in the cloud home that would just have like a Boolean check or some kind of string. Probably a string would be better because you can add like a little description of, hey, there's a new update to the cloud home and you can update to it. Things like prefabs will make this process even easier, but that's down the line. Because right now, of course, optimizations is priority because Brooks is wrangling Unity right now into its own little compartment so that it can just run only the rendering, and then everything else under the hood is just Fruits engine. Ah, Bappler has another question. But given that you plan to upgrade the materials with a cloud home, which have been already done, and the models and the textures, and like any other assets that needed to be coalesced or deduplicated, it already has been done. Hasn't been published yet because there's some other fixes we want to do, and there's also some bugs that kind of block us from doing it. Though we might do a temporary fix. The thing is, what we want to do is get all the fixes that we can and just push it out as one big update instead of constantly updating it and updating it and updating it. The other worlds will probably be more comfortable updating it, but we don't have a way of notifying users easy unless if we just. Actually, I just thought about it. What if we just use the Resonite bot to notify folks that, hey, there's a new version of the. You know, I should have thought about that, but here we are. I think that'll be a good fallback plan if we don't have something in the cloud home. Because mainly the priority is this, and right now there's some problems with the reflection probes within Resonite. Well, that Prime is currently, and I quote, slay reflection probe issues. He's starting to work on the ones he worked on, seeing what the heck was wrong with Compressinator, which was the code library that we use to generate the cube maps for reflection probes and other things, and there were just some things in there that were not working right to the point where Prime basically said that other companies would just give up and just use something else or make their own thing. And yeah, that's crazy that he found out how to fix that stuff. That's still only like a portion of it. Right now, he's working on the parts that don't touch Unity because how Fruit's engine is going to be integrated with Unity currently is changing fundamentally. So he's working on the stuff that is going to be mostly untouched by the splitting, and then work on the other stuff afterwards. What we plan on doing for the release, if we need to, is take the old reflection probes from the old one that are already generated, put them in the current one, and then release it. Because there's a couple other things that need to be added, like the teleporter that Raivi was working on. I did showcase this in a couple of a few office hours before. There's only a couple of things to add on there, and did add a couple of fixes in there, and it's pretty much good to go, other than reflection probes and making sure all the other bugs that people have reported or issues with the content within there have been updated. Also, I see a question from Sejin. To answer your question, it depends on the font, and the default font right now. Actually, how the font system works, there's the default font in here, which is Poppins, and then it goes down in a font chain, although I don't know what font Jack used for this. It might be Noto Sans, which is a fallback one in the font chain, it's called. Actually, I could crack it open in here. So I'm going to select the text here because it's any text you make by default. And any inspector or even your radio menu will refer to that default font chain, it's called. And yeah, so you can see like the asset there, font chain, and it's on the root of the world. So if I click this to open it, you'll see like all these different assets there. Of course, the asset variant system kind of nulls out the names of it, but I can just take the main font, and you can see this is the main font here. And if I go down the list, say if there's like special characters that certain fonts use, yeah, if I go to this one, yeah, some characters aren't supported in this one, but others are. And it goes further. Yeah, there's the uh, Noto Sans. And it goes further. Tai Noto San or Noto Sans Tai. It's mainly the same general font that supports multiple types of written languages. Ah, see a couple other questions coming up, and yeah, another one from Baplar. Actually, before I forget, was there anything else about that? Within text fields or like text things, you can either refer to a single font file or font asset or font chain. Now, to answer Bapler or go over Bapler's question, I am working on making a wiki page for describing the parameters of dynamic bone chains. Actually, I should probably do what Fruix has been doing. and then kind of move this a little bit so I can see it, as well as listing the value presets suggested by the community. Do you have any pointers to give or presets of values you commonly use yourself? Well, I can simply start by going over my own avatar, starting with the ears. Actually, the fluff is probably easier to get first. I kind of try to make like hair that is more flowy and not like wiggly. Ears, a mix of a little bit wiggly but also flowy at the same time, as well as the hair to not get blown back like you're blowing yourself with a hair dryer or like sticking your head out a window. But these are the parameters I use for some of the hair, like for my side fluff. Actually, where's the top? Oh, that's pretty much the same thing. Let me get the ears. For tails, it's a little bit more swishy, but that depends on like what you want for a tail. Some people might want wiggly. If it's clothing, depends on how heavy you want that clothing to feel as well. Say if it's like more heavier clothing like denim or like leather, it's gonna have a lot of more inertia or weight to it versus something like a t-shirt or a simple like ribbon. A cloak would probably be somewhere in the middle, or cape, unless if you specifically want it to be a lighter metal or metal material. Although a metal cape would probably be interesting if it's like chainmail. You can probably do something like that with the texture and have it cut out. That'll be interesting. No, that's the ear rotation. Your offset. Oh yeah, I have like a thing that is being driven by my both my mouth tracking and eye tracking. Here's the It's pretty much the best to kind of show the settings here, because like describing them is one thing, but showing like actual examples is another. And usually, what I do for like the ears and the is have grab on them. I don't have grab slipping. Actually, I had grab slipping on both, but sometimes I don't put grab slipping on the ears, depending on what avatar it is. But especially on the tail, so you grab it and it kind of goes down the chain and then slips. Also, I recommend turning on visualize bones and colliders. As other hand, right here are like the actual colliders of the dynamic bones. And right here you can see it's interacting with it. At the moment we only support like spheres, but you can adjust the sphere size by actually let me do this here. You got the base bone radius. That is what you mess around with. It is kind of hard to like change the radius of individual ones, but as with anything in here, it is subject to updates that can add these features. And more than likely, uh, there is a GitHub issue out there for a feature request of overhauling this. Ah, we have a bird rating us. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Art Team Office Hours. Or Resonite Art Team Office Hours. I'm Aegis, if you aren't familiar. Over here answering questions about Dynamic Bones specifically lately. Art Team Holiday Hours. I mean, yeah, I'm on a beach. It is pretty warm today. VTR Axelis asks, what about a robe? That depends on how the bones are weighted, because sometimes you might have, say, the bones kind of like part of the sleeves. Words, yeah, the sleeves, and then you can add like a little bit of weight, and you can also do that not just by messing around with the inertia, but also there is a gravity. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a field for gravity specifically. And you can check the low gravity space. And what that means is what kind of gravity that that is going to be affected by or in. So if it's affected by the world root, it's under the world root. So if you have that under the world root and you're upside down, like on like one of those MC Escher worlds or like uh world where you can like walk all the way around the sphere, the things will start dynamic bones will start to droop upward if you're upside down. So you can have it relative to the space that the user is in as well. Or specify whatever space it is, really. It's like how you can change the place that particles are played from as well. Say if you have particles playing on a tool or a weapon and you don't want it to just like stay in place when you move it around, you can just mess around with it, click local space, and it'll switch to it. One thing I just remembered that I kind of got distracted from earlier is the kind of stuff that we want to prioritize on getting into the help tab, which those are that are just joining in. This will be a actually let me spawn what it looks like when you first open it up. That is a little large. All right. This will be a new tab in your dashboard. It is the help tab. It will guide new and existing users for learning different aspects of Resonite. Right here, there's a pop-up that'll be there for when you first open it up. Now this will be a new page in the dashboard. So it'll be like a new button on where all the existing buttons are. And when you click on it, you'll have this page. Now you got these different buttons here. There'll probably be a fifth one for building if we have time to get that too. And once you click on it, you can either do that or you can like ignore it and go to the main list. It will show you what these beginner guided tutorials are. They're like full of different videos. So say if I want to set up my avatar, I think the link to that thing is not working yet, so I can just click on this for now. And it will show you a more guided way of how to, for example, set up an avatar or find friends or contacts or open up worlds and explore worlds. Right now the text looks weird. It's because these things are set up to be translated by a whole bunch of different locale strings, they're called. It's a system where you just put in tags of what it's supposed to be. It's the same thing with adding a tag onto like the description, for example, although it's going to be automated by adding all the different tags automatically. That's right, if has a script that will automatically populate it once we have everything. But all these beginner, at least these four, will be set up so that folks can that are new to the platform will be able to know the absolute basics right in the comfort of their dash. And this is a facet, which is a piece of UI that can exist in the world as well. Hence why it's here. That's how we're able to work on it too. That's how the settings menu was worked on too. Same with the color picker and a few others. or quite a few others, like the keyboard. It's all made directly in here. All the building blocks were made in code, but all the pieces of the UI, the uh, the graphics, and all that was done in here. And that way, Frooks and like coders can focus on more of the other stuff, the functionality of it, while we can work on, well, the functionality in here, like the buttons, the little neat little animations when he moves around, and the color changes, the graphics, text, etc. And even sounds if we want to put any. And just like the settings tab, it has that little breadcrumb thing it's called on the top. So you can see where you are. Also, there will be a list of controls here. It'll show you what you have currently. For me, it's an index controller. But you can also cycle through all the other ones that we have so far. And then you can just click this button to go back to the one you have currently equipped. Now, these categories only briefly brush the, I, I guess you could call it tip of the iceberg of what you can do in here, but it's more or less like the necessities of what a new user would need. Like with the building stuff, I'm planning on going through and making a tutorial on showing all the very basics of like what you can build in here, whether it be brushes, using the shape tool to build like primitive objects, how to glue them together, using the material tool to swap materials of things, and at least a brief summary of what you can do with the dev tool, and like briefly touching even more on topics of like, hey, you can do scripting in here like Protoflux, and if you want to learn more, click here. But right now, if there's any of the pages that are like right now in progress, like for example this one, it'll link to the Resonite wiki at the moment. So it's a placeholder thing. It already has locales for the placeholder text itself, so or at least ready to be merged into the locales. And when you go into the general selection, like if either you dismiss it, the pop-up that comes up, or you go back to the main help category. I'm just going to delete this so I can have just one of them. Oops. Come on. Scale up. I did not mean to scale it up or down. Words. Okay. These are more kind of like, think of it as like categories in a wiki or a field guide. These will range from like more common things to more advanced stuff, even within each category. Like, for example, if I go to controls, you got like your simple things like locomotions, and like it'll go over like all the different locomotion types or scaling, and all this stuff will kind of go down deeper and deeper with like different specific things. Like, there's different gestures you can do with VR users. Like there's a emergency respawn gesture that if you hold certain buttons and put your controllers near your head, you will respawn. Or if you use a different set of buttons, you will like basically eject yourself from the world. Or you can also turn on edit mode like that. It's really good to see where your grab spheres are, which are the orbs that show you where you grab things. Also, I just accidentally grabbed it because it's a facet. There we go. And it'll even go over things as more in depth, like how to change your Steam bindings as well. It's, it's definitely something useful for users, as well as like a quick links page. commands for sending commands to the Resonite bot. And for example, for avatars, you kind of start with like the basics again, like what are avatars, how to equip them, how to save them within your inventory, etc. Kind of goes down. Avatar creation is gonna be a big category, and most likely won't be there at launch when it's there, because there's a lot to go over. Dynamic Bones is its own thing too, which aren't exclusive to avatars, but they can be put onto avatars. So we can either mention it in here as like how to add dynamic bones to your avatar. Actually, kind of makes sense too to put it on there, because not only you can with dynamic bones in here, it doesn't have to be bones. It can be just a whole bunch of chain of objects that are parented under each other, because that's how bones are treated in here. They're just empty objects that have information on them or assigned to a component on your avatar that tells you, hey, this part of the, or this bone, or these sets of bones move this part of the mesh, which is my index finger, or my ears, or body, whatnot, or clothing. Yeah, because you can like put dynamic bones on any sort of objects. If you attach a cube onto another cube onto another cube, you can make that into a dynamic bones, and it works just like these would be. You can make avatars like that too, making them entirely out of primitive objects like boxes, spheres, toruses, cones, a whole bunch of other procedural meshes in here, or even brush strokes as well too. People have done it before. Dashboard is definitely going to be a big category as well too. Is it a goal for everything that is within your dashboard? Same with building. Kind of also go over tips and tricks on how to optimize your content and common misconceptions as well too. Going through all the different uh, components, tools, flux, at least to overall, because if you're looking up like the specifics of like what a component does, we could probably include like the common most ones, but it's better off using the wiki to find it. And you can simply even use your desktop view in here. Or if you're in desktop, then you already have access to your web browser at that point. There'll be a much more in-depth uh, guide. Right now, this is the kind of system we're using right now. The ideal system that we want to use for something like this is utilizing what are called data feeds. And data feeds are just sets of data. The amount of users that are in a world is a set of data. Uh, the amount of particles in a particle system is a set of data. It's data feeds all the way down. And there's a data feed of data feeds as well too. Ah, that's a good question from Sepnite or Kite. Hmm. Is there any info in these tutorials on how worlds are different from those like VRChat in a way that they are hosted? Because it's pretty common to see a new user make a new world and somebody joins and they don't realize that they're closing the entire world once they close the game. That is definitely a good thing to know. Especially when a new user comes in and they open not only just one but multiple worlds and not knowing that they're in multiple worlds. That is one thing we want to show people within the tutorial itself. Probably around, at first it'll be in here. and then will be managed via another data feed in a ideally a sessions you're in facet. And if anybody's wondering what a facet is, you're looking at one right here, and also this entire thing is a facet. Same with the settings menu. What that is a piece of UI that's modular that can be placed into a container. Your dashboard has a few containers for it. Say, for example, the Worlds tab is kind of a proto facet, but the ones on your Home tab, those are facets. You can enter into an edit mode. Actually, not that, it's a different edit mode. But you are able to actually take those pieces of UI, move them around, scale them to how you want, and it'll be there when you save or leave the game because it automatically saves. And even with the settings menu, you can go into uh, like a certain setting, and just like how I grabbed out your comment here, I can basically have it as a facet that I can attach to things even on my avatar. But going back to the worlds thing, definitely putting it in here in general, putting it in the tutorial world, as well as having a way to manage the worlds you're in as a menu piece itself will be incredibly useful. I know there's like some prototypes of it that Prime was playing around with a while ago, but it lacked the proper data feeds for it, so it didn't function correctly. As hosting worlds in here, you can like join servers just like any other kind of like platform. They're just called headless servers. And they're hosted by pretty much anyone that runs those servers. Or it's hosted by peer to peer. Right now, this world is running off of me because I'm the host. So it's going off of my connection. And therefore, if I have someone else here, if I spawn something out, it loads for me first, then it disperses itself to everyone else. But if I'm like in a headless session, even if like it's running off of the same connection, like if it's running off of a computer somewhere else in my house on the same network, it'll first load for me, then or it'll locally load for me partially if I recall. Then it'll load the headless, then everyone else, or just the headless and everyone else. Probably probably the headless first. Why it's called headless, if some people I know asked, is it doesn't have any of the rendering aspects of Resonite, and it's used to host servers. Technically, how you do it is you make an account for it. Some people make funny names because headless, for example, Veer on the team named theirs Veerless. I think Fruits made a joke one called Fruitsless at some point. But yeah. And another uh, tidbit about headless servers is that you already benefit from the performance upgrade in there because you're not dealing with Unity's runtime because there's no rendering engine in there. So anything you run on a headless will be more efficient than running on your own system at the moment. And from the recent videos that Fruits posted in the devlog and on their YouTube and socials, having a world load in less than 10 seconds That's insane. And if it was cached, I mean that makes it faster. That means you already loaded into that world, and then you left that world and going back into it. Still, the only thing at that point limiting you would be your network mostly, and if there's very heavy assets in general, because even if there's going to be performance upgrades, there's still the fact an important thing, which is optimizing your content in here, which is going to be as important as the platform itself being optimized. That's why we decided to go through and, with the limited time we have, update and optimize and fix any bugs and that of everything that we have currently with the tutorial, and adding new things where we can, like the help tab and the avatar gazebo and that, realistically within the time. Ideally, we want to have the beginner's experience be like a modular way, or modular experience where it's narrative, kind of like a story going through, like learning how to play Portal, for example. In the very beginning, it teaches you all the different mechanics per level, which was one of the big inspirations of what Brooks wanted to do in the first place. Now, knowing a whole bunch of different games and experiences that teach the user, it's definitely worth looking at. And what we also want to do too is make it optional of what you want to do. Make it your own journey in a way where you can choose if you want to just simply join in, jump in, go into people's worlds right away and see people, meet people, talk with folks, and explore worlds. Jump right in the deep end of the pool. And then if you want to go in a guided approach, yeah, also probably be finally something that we can do with lore. That'll be fun. We have ideas. I realize it's over an hour, but I'll give it about a few more minutes and a decent amount of questions today. That's good. This will be uploaded onto YouTube after the fact on our YouTube channel, which I can coincidentally. Oh, there it is. Yeah, just look up Resonite and you'll see us. Actually, I think the link is in the description. Yeah. And you're welcome, Baplar. Gonna go over what's upcoming in regards of streams and events. Uh, every Wednesday, I do these, or I try to do these art team office hours around 6 p.m. U.S. Central. On Friday, there's going to be a stream, which is going to be the recap stream of what happened over the last month. And on Sundays, there will be the moderation office hours first by either Git or Veer or both. And also on Sundays, Frooks does his Resonance podcast office hours. And a Cyril may join in here and there depending on the day. So, within the Discord, there are, I think I should make one too. for the art team office hours is bring in questions for that people have that want to ask ahead of time, and for me to answer on stream first before answering questions in the Twitch chat. So, and that's within the office hours section of the Discord that has a forum list or forum page that'll show you different forums of like the different office hours, upcoming office hours, that you can put your questions there. For example, Fruits puts theirs, Prime puts theirs. Oh, Prime does theirs on Discord, their office hours. And they also have a forum post there too. So if you want to tune in around pretty much the same time I start these, but on Tuesdays, that's when Prime has his prime time office hours, as it's called. uh, well, hope you all folks enjoy the rest of your Wednesday or start of Thursday, at depending on where you are, and take it easy. Take care. Bye bye. Where is it? There it is.